Team Foundation Server, TFS, is at the center of Visual Studio 2010. One way to think about TFS is to view it as a database that stores information about the development process. In fact, TFS is actually built on SQL Server, but while it does store lots of information, TFS also provides a bunch of useful functions using the data it contains. To give you a sense of what TFS provides, I'm going to walk through the main things it does. First, TFS provides work item tracking. The development process relies on all kinds of information, requirements, tasks to be done, bugs, test cases, lots more. TFS holds all of this in work items. Each work item is actually a record in the TFS database. And so work items can be related to each other in various ways. For example, I might have a requirement that has some set of tasks that must be carried out to meet that requirement. That requirement might have test cases, one of which has found a couple of bugs. All of these things can be connected in TFS, letting me ask and answer questions like, what are the bugs for this requirement? Another requirement might have other tasks, other test cases, other bugs, all linked together as work items in TFS. Another function TFS provides is version control for source code and other things. This component addresses a fundamental challenge in building software, which is keeping track of changes. TFS version control manages updates to source code, database schemas, and other information used in the development process. TFS also provides test case management. Testing is a hugely important part of the development process. The role of this component is to help developers and testers create, use, and manage their test cases and the results of running those tests. Another piece of TFS is lab management. The goal here is to make it possible for developers and testers to create and use test labs based on virtual machines, VMs, rather than real physical machines. VMs are typically cheaper and easier to work with for testing, and so providing built-in support for this makes sense. TFS also provides build management. Creating a runnable application from source code and all the other artifacts the team creates can be remarkably complicated. And once you've built the app, you want to run tests to verify the quality of this build. TFS Build Management provides an automated way to do these things. One more component of TFS is its support for creating reports and SharePoint dashboards. The development process creates a mountain of information. The reports and dashboards that TFS provides are meant to help the people involved in that process make sense out of this massive data. And because all the information about the project is stored in a unified server, TFS, combining it and displaying it in useful ways isn't hard. For example, the project dashboard, one of the many that ship with TFS, provides a current summary of various aspects of an agile project. Here's an example. As you can see here, the product backlog is displayed, the task burn down is shown, recent builds are made obvious. The point is, we have one place to go, a dashboard, to see many of the important things about the status of our project. It's worth pointing out that TFS maintains both current and historical data about a development project. It collects this data automatically by keeping track of code check-ins to version control, builds, and other things. And this means that project managers no longer have to harass team members for status updates, then cut and paste whatever they get into a report. Instead, TFS can provide this automatically. And the historical context that reports provide makes them useful in really understanding a project's status. If 4/5 of your tests pass today, is that good? You can't know unless you also know what percentage of tests passed 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago. The historical data that TFS maintains can let you answer these kinds of questions. The last thing to talk about is process templates. Different development teams use different processes, and so they want different work items, reports, dashboards, and so on. To allow this, TFS uses process templates. Each template defines a certain set of work items and reports and more, so a team can pick the one that best fits how it works. Microsoft has templates for Scrum and other approaches. Third parties offer more, and you're free to create your own if you want to. TFS provides lots of functionality. And building an integrated tool set around this kind of central server makes good sense. Having a common hub for the entire process makes many things easier. If it's possible to think of VS 2010 as having a heart, that heart is definitely TFS.